Hello, welcome to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host, Iggy. Yay. Thank you for that. Well, guys, tonight we're going to look at some Marx Cowboys. Now, these Cowboys first came on the scene, I believe, in 1958. And I flipped through the pages of Sears' catalog, and the first time that I can find a sample of them is here. And previous to this, they had what we call the Chubby Cowboys. And I do have an example of the Chubby Cowboys, and I showed those to you in a video that I took about 200 or 300 videos ago. It's been a while, but they're different. They're a little thicker and bigger than the Cowboys that you see here. Now, these are the same that you see that I have on display here. Now, these were made in China, and they're made of what I call dirty plastic. In other words, the color is not without some impurities. These are not so bad. The ones that were really bad, I threw out, but they had like black streaks of coloring in them. And so I tossed those out. And the set also came with these light blue figures. Now, when I first saw these, I thought, well, I must have spray painted these. But I took a knife and scratched the base of it, and none of the paint came off. And usually when I've had them in storage for a long time, the paint chips. And I'll give you an example of that. This is a figure that I painted some time ago. You see its paint's come off of his leg and his arm. All of it off his pistol, off his hat. That's what happens when you're using latex paint and you don't spray it with a lacquer fixative. But none of these have that telltale sign of having been painted. At first I thought I used a spray can, but having scratched the bottom, I scratched my bottom, and it looks like I'm the same color, so maybe that's the deal. I'm not sure. Well, these figures here were introduced with the Mineral City playset. They were used in a lot of different playsets after that, and they've become quite common and ubiquitous for Marx Western playsets. I spotted a couple figures from 1956 catalog that were like this one, only he was mounted. And then there was another one. Oh, yeah, it was this one here. So there was some designs that were the precursor, if you will, to what we have here. And this does not represent all of them, though. There's some figures that are missing here. Like there's supposed to be a fellow with a gold pan, and there's a couple others that are missing. My favorite figures, believe it or not, are the sort of mundane figure, like this one here. He's got a horse playing. He's got his back arched because he's going to flip it up onto the horse. And I like that figure because it's not the usual gunfighter pose, which you see so much of. You would think that everyone was shooting each other back in the day. And of course they did, but not as much as you would think. I like this. He's going out to his barn. Here's the guy. I think he's supposed to be carrying a rifle, but the rifle, that's another thing about these knockoffs, Chinese knockoffs, is there's a lot of casting issues. His rifle's not fully formed. Here's one with the bedroll. I kind of like those figures. Now, when I was in high school, I had a friend named Doug. I don't know if Doug would want me to use his last name, so I'll say Doug D, because I have another friend who's Doug S. Doug D used to dress like this when he came to school. Of course, he didn't have shooting irons, but he had a hat that was just like this. And I thought he was the coolest kid I ever met. All the girls in high school, of course, hated him. How dare you be different? They all claim they want to be different, but high school kids all dress the same. If you're a goth, you dress like a goth. If you're a surfer, you dress like a surfer. And they have very strict rules on how you're supposed to present yourself. And I always dressed kind of like a surfer or a pothead, but I was neither of those in high school. I was not a surfer or a pothead surfer. The thing I did mostly in school was sleep. My mom thought something was wrong with me. I said, well, Mom, you don't understand. I'm in love with Tracy and she doesn't even know I exist. And my mom said, how on earth can you say you love someone that does not even know you exist? That would indicate that you don't even know who they are. Well, I do. She's pretty. That's not enough reason to say I love you. My mom was very wise. And she said, besides, if you talk like that, no girl's ever going to love you. She was right, of course. Because all I do is talk like this. How come none of the Goyles like me? I like the Goyles, but the Goyles don't like me. I've searched all over this oit looking for a Goyle, and I can't find a Goyle. Maybe I need a gargoyle. Anyway, these rootin' tootin' fast shooting cowboys, miners, and ranchers are a fun thing to have if you're into Western things. I would dearly love to get a hold of one of these Mineral City towns. This is made of tin, and it would come shipped to you flat, and you would assemble it. And my neighbor, Mark and Neil, they had this set, and I used to drool over it. They had every Mark set you can imagine, and they had this too, by the way. Fort Apache. Good grief. What fun stuff they had years ago. They had something similar to this, but it was better. It was called Moonbase, and it came with a styrene or a vacuum like moon mountain with a crater in it. And it would fire rockets and little space saucers like you see here. It was a cool set. Had these vehicles with big fat tires so you could go on the lunar landscape. Have you ever seen pictures of Germany after World War II? Talking about lunar landscape. Good God, they bombed the poop out of those people. I shouldn't even laugh. That's not funny. Well, that's all I got for you this time. Oh, wait, there is a bonus. I got a bonus. Here is an MPC wagon that I suppose is supposed to be a stagecoach. But this is the weirdest looking stagecoach. It looks like a Regency carriage. And it comes, of course, with the rider, but the horses were missing. This is all I got. I don't know what happened to the rest of it, but it is marked MPC. You can see the MPC logo in here somewhere. There it is, MPC, Multiple Plastic Corporation or Company or whatever they call it. I found another MPC wagon. Look, guys, you got to admit, even when we were kids, we thought that was funny. But let's not get into that. Now, a big surprise I got when I found these is I found this. Let me cover it up so that people don't want to get me banned. This is a Marx original Civil War flag because it's made of tin as opposed to paper. And it's on what looks like a cement pole. And it came with this base. Doesn't fit in there very well, does it? I can always glue that on, though, can I? Or should I? Let me get my glasses out of the way so you can see it. I don't want to show it too long because someone's going to, I saw a Confederate flag. Anyway, let's not get into that because that's a hot topic. I prefer these, we all have our preferences on what we like our soldiers to be. For instance, I like my British Revolutionary War figures to be red or blood red. And sometimes they come in an ivory color or some other color. I don't care for that. And I like my Indians to be in a peach color or butterscotch or reddish brown, what I call Fort Apache brown. Some people call it sienna or adobe. I like soldiers in a powder blue. I like my Mexicans to be powder blue. I like cowboys in powder blue and cavalry. Civil War figures, of course, unless they're Confederates, then I like them in a light gray as opposed to the darker gray. Anyway, we all have our likes and dislikes when it comes to colors. What you guys, what do you like your figures colored? Like, I don't care for this yellow at all. I might actually paint them so that they match these, but I don't know, because you can see what happens there. It's got crotch rot there. All right, guys, that's all I got for you this time. This is Iggy saying thank you for getting Iggy with it. Thank you for enlisting in the Iggy Army. And let's get on our bikes and go down to the hobby store and see what's new. What do you say? Okay, guys. This is Iggy saying thank you and have a good night. Thank you, buckaroos. Adios.